It's time to get started on a new project. I'm going to be making a wine caddy out of some 1/2-inch plywood. I'm getting that all sucked down to the wasteboard through the vacuum table on the STEPCRAFT M1000 CNC machine. I'm going to start off with a 1/4-inch downcut bit to go through and remove the majority of the waste. This project's going to be done using mortise and tenon joints essentially that are cut on the CNC without any sort of dog bone corners, and I'll show you exactly how we do that. While the Black Box Storm vacuum and the grip lock mat really hold everything nice and tight on the CNC, all of those small little areas would never be able to be held down. So I cleared the majority of the waste out with this 1/4-inch bit, and that'll make sure that everything stays in place and I don't have parts that are going to fly up on me when I'm cutting the profile out with the 1/8-inch bit. So we'll go through and get everything else cut. We'll use the auto tool changer to change out for the 1/8-inch compression bit. This bit has both an upcut and downcut portion of the bit, so it'll leave a nice clean surface on the top and bottom of the material. So this bit is running over the exact same tool path that the 1/4-inch bit ran, and it's just cleaning up those corners on the pockets that we cut. I am cutting a little bit into the grip lock mat, but that's okay. This is a piece that is designed to be replaced, and it's designed to actually be cut into, and it'll still hold a really nice suction. After a while, you may have to change it out, but it does hold everything really nicely, and that ensures that we get a nice clean cut on the top and bottom surface of the material, as you do need to go a little bit past the material to make sure that it makes full contact. I use some T-bone fillets there in the corner where the tenons will poke through to ensure that everything can sit nice and flush up against the sides. We'll go through and get all of the rest of the parts all cut out, and then we can get those all pulled off of the CNC after we get the vacuum turned off. We can just get that all pulled up and move over to the router table and begin getting our parts all routed up. Square corners don't fit into rounded corners, but let me show you how we got it to fit like this. To make these corners fit, I need to match the radius left by the 1/8-inch bit that I used to cut them. So I'm using a 1/16-inch radius roundover bit on the router table to go through and round over just those tenon portions. A starting pen really helps with making sure that you only touch the tenon portion, as I don't want to round over the part that's going to be flush up against the material. The tiny ball bearing on this bit allows me to do that and not worry about touching the parts that I don't want to have rounded over. The size of the bearing also allows me to get into some of the tighter areas in this design left by the 1/8-inch bit and able to get those all rounded over without having to do a lot of hand sanding. And now we have an absolutely perfect fit on all of our pieces. This looks so much cleaner than using something like dog bone corners to make everything fit. While I had everything in place, I made marks on the pieces so that I could see where I needed to route up to so that I get a nice fit with the flat areas still flat against the sides. I got all the other pieces all rounded over just to ease those edges and make things a little bit more comfortable. Now we can move on to assembly. I'm using some Titebond 3 wood glue to get everything all glued in place, and I'm just using a little bit of glue here. I don't want too much to create a lot of squeeze out problems or any extra cleanup needed. All of these pieces were stained before cutting just so that you could see better what's happening, but you wouldn't actually want to stain this piece until it's all fully assembled in case you needed to do any sort of glue cleanup. So then I can get everything all clamped down, making sure that those tenons are all fully seated. The tenons are cut a little bit thicker than the actual material. That way we do have a little bit left to sand off. It's a lot easier to remove material than it is to add material back on there. Once the glue's all dry, I'll remove all of those clamps. You can see those tenons are just a little bit proud, so now we'll just go ahead and sand all of that back, do any final sanding that's necessary, do a little bit of hand sanding on the edges as well, and then we have this piece all ready to go. With everything assembled, we can get the finish applied. For this, I'm using General Finishes Danish Teak. Really like this look, and it works really well. We just get everything all brushed on, then we can get that all wiped off. I use a smaller brush to get into some of the nooks and crannies, and then it also helps to use some compressed air to try to get any stain out from areas that you can't quite reach with the towel. After staining, I applied some finish after it had fully dried, and this project's ready to go. The wine glass and bottle holders also double as a phone stand, which is actually really nice. The glass holder fits over the stem of the glass and then just slides into place. It's a nice pop fit there, and it's held in place nicely. It also works well for holding bottles, and those stabilizers go over the top of that to keep things from moving around on you. You can shake these, and these are not going to come out of this rack unless you really want them to. The plans for this project are available on our website. Be sure to check them out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. We'll catch you guys back out here on the next one. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you love this type of content, be sure to subscribe right over here and click right over here for more great videos.